So there are now we are discussing the definitions and ship construction. So hogging क्या होता है? Basically hogging is when a ship is loaded in such a manner ship has excess of weights at the end, whereas excess of buoyancy in the middle. Then she will have a tendency to bend upward amidship. Vessel bending in this called to be hogging. Sorry, and sagging. So is a call when the uneven distribution of weights and buoyancy in the length of the hull. If a ship is supported on either end of by the crest of the wave, the stress exerted by the waves on the buoyancy of the vessel would tend to lift the end, while the center of the vessel would suffer a loss of buoyancy and tend to sag. This type of stress is known as sagging. Wrecking when a vessel is rooting in a seaway, the transverse section will try to distort at the corner due to racking stresses. Okay. Torsion if a vessel is subject to a pitching and rolling at the same time, taking the wave on either bow, vessel will tend to twist longitudinally. These are known as torsional stresses. Water pressure. Water acts perpendicular to the surface of the submerged hull and increases with the depth. This produces collapsing stresses which must be resisted. Now dry docking. When a ship is dry docked, the thrust from the water is removed, the hull on either side of the keel strake tends to sag downwards and the beams are in tension Key blocks, bilge blocks and side shores are needed to support the ship. The arrangement of a keel and bilge blocks are different for each class of ships. Side shores also differ from ship to ship. I repeat, when a ship is dry docked, the thrust from the water is removed. The hull on either side of the keel strake tends to sag downwards. The hull on either side of the keel strake tends to sag downwards and the beams are in tension. The hull on either side of the keel strake tends to sag downwards and beams are in tension. Keel blocks, bilge blocks and side shores are needed to support the ship. Keel blocks, bilge blocks and side shores are needed to support the ships. The arrangement of keel and bilge blocks are different for each class of ship. Side shores also differ from ship to ship. I repeat, when a ship is dry docked, the thrust from the water is removed, the hull on either side of the keel strake tends to sag downwards and beams are in tension. Now, keel blocks, bilge blocks and side shores are needed to support the ship. Keel blocks, bilge blocks and side shores are needed to support the ship. The arrangement of keel and bilge blocks are different for each class of ships. Okay. Now coming to the local stresses. Local stresses, that is, painting is an in and out motion of the shell plating caused by fluctuation in water pressure because of water waves. In order to prevent this classification, societies are given extra strength in the form of a beam, brackets, stringer, plate, etc. The structure at the forend is strengthened to resist painting to a distance of 0.15 aft of the forward perpendicular. Forward of the collision bulkhead, painting stringers are fitted not more than 2 meters apart. The stringers are bracket to the shell frames and painting beams are fitted on alternate frames. Under each painting stringer, pillars are fitted on the center line to the. What is painting? यार इसका definition इसी याद करता हूँ. Is an in and out motion of the shell plating of fluctuation in water pressure because of water waves. ठीक है. Pounding क्या रहता है? At the time of heavy weather, the ship may heave and pitch so that the forend emerges from the water and re-enters with a slamming called pounding. Okay. To resist pounding, the forward bottom structure is strengthened to between 0.25 of the length depending on the ship's block coefficient. Plate floors are fitted on each frame station or alternate frame stations with intercoastal side girders not more than 2.2 meter apart. The four strakes of each plate of shell plating either side of the keel are increased in thickness in the pounding region. फ्रेमिंग्स का हो गया है. नाउ फ्रेमिंग्स का नंबरिंग तो हो गया. व्हाट इज अ शेल प्लेटिंग? Shell plating is the outermost structure on the hull of the ship. The main purpose of the shell plating is to provide watertight skin of the streak. Shell plating is not made of a single plate. Is when the more plate comes together, then they form a shell plate. It is made up of smaller section of plates welded together. These plates are joined together and numbered in certain patterns such as is. Okay, so this what we said, shell plating is welded together. Now these plates are joined together. It is made up of smaller section of plates together and numbered in a certain. These plates are joined together. Okay, when these plates are joined together and numbered in a certain pattern such as A strike, B strike, C strike. Based on the position of shell plating, the most common type of shell plating are bottom shell plating is the shell plating at the bottom of the ship shell forming the watertight center. Okay. Garboard set just adjacent to the keel strike is called a garboard strike. And in the vertical direction, each plate is given a number in the horizontal direction. Okay. Now, what is keel strike? Keel plate is also made of smaller section of keel plates. These streaks of plates that form the keel of the ship are called these streaks of plates. Streaks of plates that form the keel of the ship are called keel strike. The plates are in the keel strike are numbered from. Okay. Now, side shell plating are the shell plating on the sides of the ship, forming the watertight skin along the. Now, shear strake, it is the topmost strake of the side shell plating or the strake adjacent to the deck plating called the shear strake. These plates are identified by a letter and number. Each plate is given an alphabet in the vertical direction starting from A from the bottom, and each plate is given a number in the horizontal direction starting from aft one. It is the topmost strake of the side shell plating on the strake adjacent to the deck plating called a shear strake. The plates are identified by a letter and a number. Each plate is given an alphabet in the vertical direction starting from A from the bottom, and each plate is given a number in the horizontal direction starting from aft one. Now, what are the other strake on side shell plating? Deck plating, shell plating that form the main deck of is called deck shell plating. Okay. How they are numbered? The strakes are marked with A, B, C vertically upward from the bottom, starting from plate adjacent to the keel plate numbered A, ending with the keel strake at Z. The strake numbered from one end with the number at the forward bow. ये J पर ही एंड होगा ऐसा कुछ है क्या? पता नहीं यार. What is beam and beam knee on ship? Beam. The deck may be supported either by transverse beam in conjunction with longitudinal girders. The deck may be supported either by transverse beams in longitudinal conjunction transverse beam in conjunction with longitudinal girders, or by longitudinal beams in conjunction with transverse girders. Transverse girders कहाँ से आ गए यार? The deck may be supported by transverse beams in conjunction with longitudinal girders or by longitudinal beams in conjunction with transverse girders. ठीक है, सही है. उसके बाद क्या बोल रहा है कि beam knees, the transverse beam are carried across the ship and bracket to the side frames by means of beam knees. The transverse beams are carried across the ship bracketed to the side frames by means of beam. Okay. Transverse beam भाई ने कुछ भेजा है. So transverse beam arrangement often adapted for ships supporting experiences severe racking stress and hogging sagging effects. A beam arrangement often adapted for ships experiencing severe racking stress and hogging sagging effects runs along the breadth of the ship and ship of less than 120 meters in the length. A beam arrangement often adapted for ships experiencing severe racks, stress and hogging sagging effects runs along the breadth of the ship and ship of less than 120 meters in length. A beam arrangement often adapted. So, in ships of more than 120 easily found in tanker fitted longitudinally. Okay. Bulkhead are basically a division of compartment or tank. Watertight, non-watertight tank bulkhead. Collision bulkhead is a crucial safety feature that has improved the safety of ship at sea. Collision bulkhead is a watertight partition located at the forward end of the that is designed to prevent flooding of the cargo hold or engine. In case of collision, the collision bulkhead must be watertight from the bottom of the ship to it can have steps but not doors, manholes, access or openings. Minimize distance not less than 0.05 meter or 10 meter, whichever is lesser from the forward perpendicular. Okay. Maximum distance 0.08 length or 0.05 meter length plus 3 meter, whichever is the greater from the forward perpendicular. Corrugated plane. What is corrugated bulkhead? Have been adapted for cargo tank bulkheads of commercial ship vessels such as bulk carrier, product oil carrier, and chemical. It is considered corrugated bulkhead preferred structural solution compared to the flat stiffened bulkhead due to the several advantages: lower mass, easier maintenance, small corrosion problems. Types of corrugated bulkhead without stool at the inner bottom. We see on this arrangement most on small tank including product and chemical tankers. VC2 this arrangement is utilized on larger ships than those type VC1 and has found application on ships exceeding 40,000 deadweight. And VC3 this arrangement utilizes the largest tank fitted corrugated with new with okay on Aframax. Okay. Horizontally corrugated bulkhead. This arrangement is most common smaller ship tankers and chemical tanker efficiencies primary. Okay. With lower stool, with lower and upper stool, without stools at the bottom. Okay. With lower stool. Okay. फिर bulkhead arranged longitudinally. This arrangement is most common smaller ship product and okay भाई. Easy maintenance, easy loading, unloading, flexible shape shrinkage, expansion by thermal load. Okay, starting. Okay. What is the rudder? The main function is to change the direction of the ship by using the what do you say? So now talking about the unbalanced rudder. So basically the entire blade is at the behind the rudder and the leading edge, which is directly facing the propeller, is connected to the stock. A large torque is required for the bending moment. Okay, so this is not preferred in modern ships using small ship vessels. And balanced rudder, the water pressure, the 20 to 40% are in the forward. So basically is not effective water pressure striking on the forward part. Turning axis compensate the water force acting on the aft part. Semi-balanced is used on most of the ships because 20% are in the forward, reduces the overall stress of the blade when water pressure is applied. Since a portion of its forward of the positioning axis, this part balances the force of the water on the afterward. Modern ships commonly use semi-balanced. Okay. What is the diameter? Diameter of the script by the blade tips as the propeller rotor define the maximum radius of the blade multiplied pitch. The linear distance the propeller will move in a complete evolution through a solid medium, not allowing for a slip. This means that if you have a propeller 40-inch pitch, it will advance 40 inches for every complete sign. Okay. Right-handed, left-handed propeller, same it is called left-handed for screw type. Okay, for two shafts, right-handed propeller port side. Okay, slip is the actual difference between the theoretical distance the propeller travel in one revolution and actual distance. Okay, pitch angle is the angle formed between the two essential elements: the pressure phase of the blade and the plane of rotation. The pressure phase of the blade and the angle of rotation. Fixed propeller name suggests it is a fixed controllable pitch, controllable. No, the only thing is that the improves and the engine efficiency. The drawback include the possibility of oil pollution, as hydraulic oil in the boss wheel is used for controlling the pitch may leak out. Okay. Now, what is the pitch propeller made? Any damage of the blade require complete propeller to be changed. However, in complete damage, okay, measure of fixed propeller is less as compared to the okay. Additionally, incontrollable pitch for engineer wear and tear are typically less, whereas the propellers of the engine are more pronounced. What are azimuth thrusters? Are also called azipods, or propellers mounted in the pod that provides thrust and steering by rotating the unit horizontally. Traditionally, vessels have propeller that provide forward thrust and a rudder that produces drag by steering the vessel. These setups work great on small ships or in open seas and are the main reason large commercial vessels like container and fuel ships need tugs to help. Okay, and mounted in a pod that provide thrust and steering by rotating the unit horizontally. A propeller mounted in a pod. Okay, propellers are mounted in a pod that provide thrust and steering and thrust and steering as well. So no need of any kind of rudder and steering by rotating the unit horizontally. Vessels have provisional that provide forward thrust and a rudder that produces drag by turning and steering the vessel. These setups work great on small ships or in open seas and are in the commercial like container ship needs tugs to help the navigate them. What is the keel and backbone of यार कितना सारा है. Basically, the keel of the ship is often connected due to its vital structure. Since backbone of a unit provides support to the body structure, the keel extends the bottom to stand and weight of the entire vessel. ठीक है भाई. Bilge keel is the longitudinal structure that runs along the bilge keel is the longitudinal structure that runs along much of the length down the lower side of the ship's hull to reduce the rolling motion. Purpose dampen the rolling motion of the sea, increases longitudinal strength, protect bilge keel. Okay, bilge while grounding. Okay. स्ट्राइकिंग प्लेट यार और कितना है. फक ओ फक तो बहुत है. ठीक है भाई टाइम लगने वाला है. 4:30 बोला 4:38 हो गया यार. ये टुडे इज़ द लास्ट डे. आज F3 ख़त्म हो गया. फिर एक बार और रिवाइज करेंगे. देखो कहीं कुछ बच गया हो, कुछ हो गया हो. फिर आज F3 बंद, कल से F1 स्टार्ट. So a striker plate is fitted at the bottom of the ballast tank sounding pipe. The purpose of this plate is to prevent the tank from getting damaged, dented because of the repeated contact with the end weight of a sounding tape. Whenever soundings are taken, a sharp thud is heard when sounding tape comes in contact with the ballast tank bottom. This might damage the ballast tank, hence a striker plate is fitted to prevent this. A striker plate is fitted to prevent this. Striker plate is fitted to prevent this. A striker plate is fitted to prevent this. A striker plate is fitted at the bottom of the ballast tank sounding pipe. The purpose of the is prevent the tank from getting damaged dented because of the repeated contact with the end of the weight of the sounding tape. Whenever soundings are taken sharp, okay bhai. Coffin plate, the coffin joining two sides plates over the keel of a vessel at the stern, which in plain view creates a shape similar to a coffin lid. Steel plate basically joining of it's a places where two stakes merge into one. Shoe plate used to connect stem to the flat plate keel. Used to connect the stem with the flat plate keel. Shoe plate बोलते. Stringer plate is the one of the forming the outstake of the ship's deck and being usually a heaven than those used for rest of the deck. Forming the outstake of the ship's deck. Okay, forming the outstake of the deck ship's deck. It is one of the plates forming the outstakes of the ship's deck. Margin line 760 mm below the 76 mm, not 760, 76 mm below the upper surface of the bulkhead deck, as measured as the side of the vessel. In simpler, margin line define the highest level on the ship's side that water can rise in the event of damage, sinking, or in the ship. It is defined as the curvature of the decks in the longitude measured as the height of the deck at which above the height. It is defined as the curvature of the decks in the longitudinal direction measured at the height of deck at any point above the height of the deck at side of its ship. Camber, curvature of deck in transverse direction measured the height of deck at the center above the height deck at the side, measured as the height of deck as the center above the height of the deck at the side. Tumble home, the inward curvature of side shell above the summer load line. Flare, the outward curvature of side shell above the water line, especially in forward, promote dryness and is therefore associated with the forend of the ship. Girder are one form of longitudinal stiffeners, and these are big size steel plates connected to the bottom of the ship, run in for an hour to strengthen the ship against the bending moment. Girders are also named according to their location. The girders at the center of the ship is called a center girder. What is shearing force? When two external parallel forces act in opposite direction on any part of a structure to break it apart or shear. The forces are known as shearing forces and are measured in tons. Shearing stress is therefore the stress that may break or shear the structure apart. When two external parallel forces act in opposite direction on any part of the structure to break it apart or shear it, the forces known as the shearing forces and are measured in tons. Shearing stress is therefore the stress that may break or shear the structure apart. When two external parallel forces act in opposite directions on any part of the structure to break it apart or shear it, the forces are known as shearing forces and are measured in tons. Shearing stress is therefore the stress that may break or shear the structure apart. Now, what is bending moment? Is the amount of bending caused to the ship's hull by external forces. Is the amount of bending caused to the ship's hull by external forces. The bending moment is the amount of bending caused to the ship's hull by extended external forces. The amount of bending caused to the ship's hull by external forces. Okay. The center of is that point through which the force of gravity may be considered to act vertically down. Okay, center of buoyancy the may be considered to vertically upward with a force equal to the weight of the water displayed by the ship. Okay. Transverse inclination caused by unequal distribution of weights on either side of the uh, either side of the either side of the center line of the ship. In other words, list is caused when the COG of the ship is on the center line. Internal cause a ship with a list will become upright only if the COG is brought to the center line. A ship with the list will become upright only if COG brought to the center line. A ship with the list will become upright only if the COG is brought to the center line. COG तो सेंटर लाइन में ही होता है यार. Hail is the transverse inclination of the hill cause of external force. Transverse meta center KM की बात हो रही है ना, M की बात. When a ship is hill acting vertically, the cuts the meta center of the hill at a point called transverse. The force of acting vertically about the news position cuts the center line of the ship at a point called transverse meta. The position is indicated by its over the K in meters. KM as the angle of okay. Metacentric height. Okay. In a vertical distance between the center of gravity and the meta-center is termed positive and G is below and is also meta-centric. And over it's a vertical distance between the center of gravity and meta-center, positive and okay. Righting lever, like when a vessel is held upward through the new position COV vertical act, the force of gravity acting vertically downward and the horizontal distance called the righting lever. GZ normally increases as the angle of increase until it reaches maximum value. Thereafter GZ decreases. For small angle, GZ equals to sine theta GM plus half EM tan square theta. GZ equals to sine theta plus GM plus half BM tan square theta. GZ equals to sine theta underscore GM plus half EM tan square theta. GM sin theta. Okay. GZ GM sin theta. Okay. Writing moment when basically the moment of the couple is measure of tendency of the vessel to return to upright and is hence called the writing moment. Okay. W into GZ, W into GM sin theta. Okay. Right on it. Center of flotation. यार कितना है बेंच. So center of flotation is the geometric center of the water plane area of the ship. It is the point at which the ship will pivot when her trim is changed due to the shifting of weight in the 4.5 direction, loading or discharging the cargo. So also called the tipping center. What is hydrostatic draft? True draft with the draft at the center of flotation when the ship is on an even keel, the draft forward and okay. Displacement is commonly used to denote the mass of a ship. In turn, technically it is the mass of water. Okay, that weight is the in some load line. Okay, weight that can carry. Okay, reserve buoyancy, the volume of the enclosed space above the water line. It may be expressed as a volume in meter or as a percentage of the total volume of the ship. Total volume minus underwater volume divided by total volume. Okay, above water volume divided by total volume. Water plane coefficient Coefficient of fineness of the water plane area is the ratio of the area of the water plane of the area of the rectangle of a rectangle of the ratio of the area of the water plane to the area of the rectangle having the same length and maximum breadth. Okay, this is water plane coefficient. Now what is block coefficient is for the volume. Coefficient of fineness of displacement of is the ratio of the underwater volume of the ship at any draft at a rectangular box having the same is the fineness of the at any draft is the ratio of underwater volume of ship at that draft to a rectangular box having the same extreme dimension. Block coefficient is 0.6. Freshwater allowance is the as an increase in draft when a ship go from seawater to and vice versa. Okay, seawater to freshwater allowance increase in draft increases. This is because W depends on the underwater volume, whereas TPC where W depends on the W by TPC W depends on the underwater volume, whereas dock water allowance change of RD divided by 0.02 when ship go from salt water to dock water and vice versa. Dock water, salt water, dock water allowance, salt water, fresh water allowance. ठीक है. TPC at any draft is the weight in tons which should be loaded or discharged to change the vessel's mean draft by 1 centimeter. Moment required to change the total trim of the vessel by 1 centimeter. To increase the draft or trim by LCB is the longitudinal separation between perpendicular and center of buoyancy. Is the flotation longitudinal between the perpendicular and center of flotation. Longitudinal meta center. चलो बड़ा देखो पहुंच गए यार, हो गया 48 हो गया. करेंगे फ्लो थ्रो रिवीजन, उसके बाद हो गया यार F3. यार F3 चाहिए कैसे भी, कसम से भाई 3 तो चाहिए फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में. बहुत मेहनत लगा है. longitudinal हो गया. longitudinal meta center is the point of intersection of the vertical line through the center of buoyancy in the even keel condition and the vertical line through the center of buoyancy in a slightly trimmed condition. Slightly trimmed conditions is the point of intersection of the vertical line through the center of buoyancy in the even keel condition and the vertical line through the center of buoyancy. क्या क्वेश्चन है देखें ज़रा. So longitudinal meta center is the point of intersection of vertical line through the center of buoyancy and even keel condition and the vertical line through the center of buoyancy in a slightly trimmed condition. Is the point of intersection of the vertical line through the center of buoyancy in the even keel condition and the vertical line through the center of buoyancy in a slightly trimmed conditions. Longitudinal meta center is the point of intersection of the vertical line through the center of the buoyancy, vertical line through the center of buoyancy in an even keel condition, vertical line through the center of buoyancy in a slightly trimmed longitudinal meta center. Prismatic coefficient is nothing but the ratio of volume of displacement of the ship to the volume of a prism that has the ship's length as the ship's water length to the volume of a prism that has the same length as the ship's water line. Okay, is the ratio of volume of the displacement of the ship to volume of a prism that has the same length as the ship's water line, the same cross-sectional area as the ship's water line, the same cross-sectional area as the ship's midship sections and extend from the waterline to the bottom of the keel. Aft perpendicular, it is a line drawn perpendicular to the load line through the aft side of the rudder post or through the axis of rudder stroke. It is a line drawn perpendicular to the load line through the aft side of the rudder post or through the axis of rudder stroke. It is a line drawn perpendicular to the load line through the aft side of the rudder post or through the axis of rudder stroke. It is a line drawn perpendicular to the load line through the aft side of the rudder post or through the axis of the rudder stroke. Forward perpendicular, it is a vertical line passing through the intersection of the design load water line and the forward face of the ship's stem. Forward face of the ship's time load displacement. It is the total mass of the ships when she is floating in salt water at a summer load line at a water surface. Of perpendicular for it is the vertical line passing through the intersection of the design load water line and the forward face of the ships. And it is a vertical line passing through the intersection permit the learning line through the outside of the rudder post or the axis of rudder post. The waterline, the forward face of the ship's stem, designing the load waterline and the forward face of the ship's stem. Load displacement is loading. ओके भाई ना इक्विलिब्रियम और ये जो भी है इंटेक्स स्टेबिलिटी का तो ठीक है फिर भी डैमेज स्टेबिलिटी प्रिंसिपल एक बार ये वाला पढ़ लेते यार प्रिंसिपल पर्टिकुलर एक्सटेंट ऑफ डैमेज क्राइटेरिया डिस्क्रिप्शन कैपेसिटी टेबल ऑफ द डैमेज कंपार्टमेंट opening information damage cases description representative of damage stability calculation summary of damage stability calculation representative of damage stability summary of damage stability calculation इसका क्या है जनरल ऑपरेटिंग इंस्ट्रक्शन प्रिकॉशन टेबलेट टैंक एंड हाइड्रोस्टैटिक प्रॉपर टेबलेट ऑफ प्लॉटेड एज द फंक्शन ऑफ मीन ड्राफ्ट metacentric GM diagram showing GM for tabulated condition of loading and minimum required GM for the vessel services. Trim diagram to calculate vessel trim when weights are added at location other than vessel center of gravity. Weight distribution stability information for various condition of loading loadings. Liquid loading diagram showing the location capacity and effect on list and trim of the ship's tank. सो यहाँ हमारा F3 ख़त्म होता है सुबह मैंने FSS कर लिया FSS कोड और अभी मैंने ये ख़त्म कर दिया तो क्या है ये शायद हमने ऑलमोस्ट एमरजेंसी फायर पम्प का बस नहीं एमरजेंसी फायर पम्प का भी एग्जैक्टली क्लियर है नॉर्मली 0.27 0.25 40% ऑफ द टोटल कैपेसिटी ऑफ द मेन फायर पम्प और इन 2000 डेड वेट से ज़्यादा होगा तो फिक्स्ड एमरजेंसी फायर पंप होना चाहिए कार्गो के लिए ओके और क्या ही है 4.5 द सक्शन हेड टोटल सक्शन हेड नॉट टू एक्सीड 4 अंडर ऑल द कंडीशन ठीक है भाई और क्या ही है 3 घंटा 15 घंटा का फ्यूल रिजर्व होना चाहिए 0 के जगह स्टार्टिंग ओके सो ये हो गया और फायर पंप का तो क्या ही है सेम उस वाला तो सेम है बस ये लिखना पंप शुड बी एबल टू डिलीवर वाटर एट अ कंटिन्यूस पाइटेड ट्यूब प्रेशर एटलीस्ट 3.4 bar at least 2 fire nozzle that are connected to the highest 2 fire hydrant on the side 3.4 bar at least 2 fire hose nozzles ठीक है pressure at any hydrant should not be so high that it becomes difficult to control the fire hose effectively relief valve should be provided to avoid overpressure okay ये सब तो ठीक है नॉर्मल इधर 2/3 ऑफ द क्वांटिटी गिवन बाय बिल्ज पम्प 3/4 क्वांटिटी गिवन बाय बिल्ज पम्प 2/3 गिवन बाय द बिल्ज पम्प ये हो गया तो पैसेंजर का और 4/3 है और कहा ईच फायर पम्प्स shall have currently not less than 80% of the total required capacity divided by the minimum number of fire pumps but not less than ठीक है ये भी ठीक है नंबर ऑफ़ फायर पम्प पैसेंजर शिप पे 4000 डेड वेट से ज़्यादा है तो 3 फायर पंप लगेंगे पहले तो 1000 के लिए कितना लगेगा वो बताओ फायर यार क्या बात हुई यार किधर है यार 4000 का एटलीस्ट फॉर पैसेंजर शिप ठीक है कार्गो शिप का क्या है एटलीस्ट 2 फायर पंप ओके लेस देन एटलीस्ट 2 फायर पंप वन ऑफ विच हैल बी इंडिपेंडेंटली ड्रिवन फायर पंप हाइड्रेंट का क्या है द शिप should have enough hydrant placed strategically so that at least 2 jets of water coming from different can reach any part of the ship. This include so that one of the jets can be reached using just one length of the hose. The ship should have enough hydrant placed strategically. The ship should have enough hydrant placed so that at least 2 jets of water coming from hydrants. Okay, the should side be hydrants. They should position in such a way that the fire hose may be easily coupled to them. They should be fitted with wall of for controlling the discharge, and wall should be designed to open with an anti-clockwise rotation. फायर उसका तो ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत तो पता है. डायमीटर ऑफ दोज इज नॉर्मली 64 mm. 64 mm का रहना चाहिए. होस नोजल का कितना 12 16 19 12 रह गया. अकोमोडेशन का ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. और मशीनरी के लिए 12 रहेगा. 19 का 16 का क्या है कुछ पता ही नहीं है. अच्छा, इतनी क्वार्टरली चेकिंग होनी चाहिए. रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर जनरेटर का क्या है, ये 43 डिग्री सेल्सियस से ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. 36 आर फॉर पैसेंजर, 18 उसके लिए. शैल बी केयर फॉर सप्लाइंग ऑल एमरजेंसी के लिए चाहिए. एसेंशियल सेफ्टी इन एमरजेंसी 45 सेकेंड में आ जाना चाहिए. शुड बी इजीली स्टार्टेड एट 0 डिग्री अंडर टेम्परेचर बिलो हीटिंग टेम्परेचर. ओके. और अगर ओके 22.4 और 10 डिग्री इधर और फॉरवर्ड और आफ्ट बी फुल्ली रेटेड पावर इज अपराइट एंड व्हेन इट fails to come load then indication to be given. Okay, fails to come on load then indication to be given in engine room. Generated power should be capable of supplying all those services that are. पहला क्या, emergency switchboard and emergency generator should be located above the uppermost continuous deck. Located upper continuous deck पे. Working of a fixed DCP, ये लगता है वीडियो देखना पड़ेगा. बाकी क्लास हाँ यार ये तो मिस आउट हो गया साला. ये भी पढ़ लेता हूँ. तो बेसिकली अपना आज सब ख़त्म. फिर भी रिवाइज करते रहेंगे कब तक. In order to restrict the spread of fire, the bulkhead and deck of the vessels are constructed to a particular standard. Various standards apply depending on the type of the vessel and nature of the space around it. Generally, the fire resistance of a bulkhead is expressed as A, B, and C. Fire resistance of a bulkhead is expressed as A, B, or C, followed by a number indicating the time and the division will prevent a specified temperature rise. वापस से in order to restrict the spread of fire, the bulkhead and decks of a vessel are constructed to a particular standard. Various standards apply depending on the type of vessel and nature of the space around it. Generally, the fire resistance of a bulkhead is expressed as A, B, and C, followed by a number indicating the time that the division will represent specific temperature rise. Class A division construct of a steel or equivalent material capable of preventing passage of smoke or flame for 1 hour. Okay. Each division bulkhead should be insulated with non-combustible mass so that the one side of both fire, the average temperature will not rise more than 139 degrees Celsius above the original temperature nor more than 1 at any point. Establish a division capable of preventing passage of flame for first half an hour. Only flame, not the smoke. Where it was smoke or flame. Okay, flame for half an hour should be such that the opposite temperature should not rise above the original temperature, not more than 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. यहाँ 180 के लिए 180 बोला. यहाँ बी के लिए आधा घंटा और 2 to 5 डिग्री सेल्सियस बोला. 139 डिग्री सेल्सियस कॉमन है. ये एवरेज टेम्परेचर द ओरिजिनल टेम्परेचर नॉट मोर देन ओरिजिनल खाली not more than 2 to 5. Okay, must prevent B15 B0 इधर ही है. C में these divisions are constructed for approved non-combustible material. They do not meet the requirement for limiting the passage of smoke and flame. No limitation is relative to the temperature rise. Combustible are permitted. They are meet other requirements. Fire assistance doors and door frames fitted to the bulkhead and the deck is to be fire as practical at least equivalent to the bulkhead or a deck which they are fitted. Watertight doors need to be insulated. So खाली बस ये बचा है वर्किंग ऑफ DCP. ये हो गया हमारा टोटल पड़ ही आ जाएगा. So thank you, bye bye, खत्म, टाटा.